Hi, I'm Leslie Amerson, and I work with entrepreneurs and business owners to help them create a rock-solid business foundation so they can better utilize their time growing their business and enjoying family and friends. Welcome to the first free video of the Easy to Understand Business Fundamental series. As I mentioned in the opt-in video, I'm going to show you the blueprint you need to cut through all the confusion surrounding business basics. You might want to grab a notebook and pen right now to be able to take some notes. Today, we'll discuss how to position and price your products or services, how to identify your ideal clients or customers, and analyze your marketplace. Let's begin by talking about products and services. A product is a thing that begins with a thought, and it's physically produced by labor. Sometimes products are also known as goods. A service, on the other hand, is an act of helpful activities which supplies aid or services to someone. Now, both products and services are the outcome that a company makes available to its paying clients and customers. Products of thoughts come from the mind, yours or someone else's, and they're considered to be intellectual works. Now, intellectual works include things such as ebooks, workbooks, PDF documents or white papers, and regular books. They also include artistic works such as songwriting, music, pieces of art, which can be made from any medium, including video and photography, sculpting, material, woods, and the like. Intellectual works are things that can be copyrighted. Now, products of thought tend to be items that are easy to download for instant access, easy to sell on the internet, or one-of-a-kind artistic pieces. Now, products of invention, on the other hand, are things that usually get mass-produced. Sometimes they're technical or they're scientific in nature. While they begin as a thought in mind, they're more tangible and physical. They're made from labor that uses tools and equipment rather than thought or artistic creation, and they can be patented. Products of invention include things such as computers, software, application. You can get into tools, equipment, whether it's for the workshop or the garden or the kitchen. It can be scientific, it can be furniture, clothing, shoes, appliances. You get the idea. Products of invention may be easy or complex to produce. They can be things that you can make in your home or your shop in small batches, or things that are produced on a massive scale in manufacturing plants or laboratories. They can cater to small niche markets or have mass appeal for everyone. And they can be a complete product of themselves, or they can be a raw material that goes into making other products. When you have products of invention, you really need to make a list of the wholesale sources and all the raw materials or components that go into that creation. You need to create a detailed drawing of the parts and how to assemble or mix them, along with step-by-step instructions and diagrams to assemble and then also for customer use. Products of invention may also require testing, licensing, or permitting depending on your particular product. Product of thoughts or inventions can be sold by private labeling them for others. They can be drop shipped, they can be sold through affiliate programs, or they can be sold wholesale, retail, or online. As an entrepreneur, you may have one or more products, and you may also have a service. As I mentioned earlier, service is an act rather than a physical product. As a general rule, services usually require specialized skills, education or training, and may also involve specific tools and equipment that are needed in order to perform or conduct that service. Many services are considered professional in nature. They require licensing or permitting by your state or your government before you can perform them. Many services require face-to-face contact, although not all of them. They can be performed at various locations, your office or storefront, the client's location, some other location, or even online or over the phone. Services can include licensed professional services such as doctors, dentists, accountants, lawyers, real estate agents and brokers, architects. Non-licensed professionals such as coaches, consultants, speakers, or teachers. Hands-on professionals such as hair, nail, skin, or bodywork practitioners, construction, maintenance, inspectors, appraisers, yard work, and the like. Now take a few minutes and take some notes about your product or service. Describe it in detail. What does it look like? What does it do? And most importantly, how does it benefit your client or your customer? If you have a product, what does it take in raw materials or components to make it? What kind of equipment or tools do you need to make it? How long does it take to make it? What kind of skills are needed to make it? Is it a small niche, small run production that you can make at home or in your shop? Or is it a product for a larger market and it should be mass produced? If it's just an intellectual product, how many pages is it? If it's an artistic product, what is needed to produce it? Can it be duplicated? Can it be mass produced? Write as much as you can about your product and try not to leave anything out. If you have a service, what is that service and what are all the things that you can do for your client? Did you need any specialized education or training or certification to be able to provide that service? Do you need any special equipment or tools to perform the service? Does your service require annual ongoing education? Are you a licensed professional, an unlicensed professional, or a hands-on professional? Now, thinking about your product or service, how does it compare with others in your industry and what they're providing? What makes your product or service better and offers more value to your clients? Why should your clients or customers use your product or service? What is your value add for them? Now, a little word of caution here. Please just describe the merits and benefits of your product, your service, your company, and don't put down your competition. This is about you, your products, your service, your business, and you don't need to be advertising for the other guy. It really turns people off and generally will have the opposite effect. Clients and customers want to know what you are going to do for them. They want to know about the quality of your product and service, what makes you stand out and different, and they want to get to know who you are. So now that you've really looked into your product or service and you've detailed it, let's move on and let's talk about your clients and your customers. Who are your clients and customers? How old are they? What is their gender? Does ethnicity or religious preference matter? Where do they live? What is their education, their skill, their role? Are they employed? Are they unemployed? Are they retired? Are they married? Are they single? Are they divorced? Are they widowed? Are they children? Are they parents? Are they about to be parents? Who are they? Now, what are your clients and customers' hopes and dreams? What are their fears and concerns? What keeps them awake at night? And how can you help them either realize their hopes and dreams or overcome their fears and concerns? Where are your clients? Are they specific to a role, an industry, or an organization? Are they in a small local area, a region, or a state? Or are they worldwide? When do your clients and customers want and need your products and services? Is it all the time, one time, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, seasonally, occasionally? When something happens or before something happens? How does your product and service help them realize their hopes and dreams, calm their fears and concerns, and how do they benefit from your product or service? Why would your clients or customers want your product or service? Does it improve their life? Does it make it easier? Does it solve a problem? Does it provide a solution? Now that we've covered your product and your service, who your clients and customers are, let's talk about your competition. Make a list of all your competition based on what you just wrote down about your product or service and your customers and clients. If you're locally or regionally based, check out the competition in other parts of the country or the world. You might find things that they offer is different than what you were thinking, or you might find a whole other market segment. How does your competition advertise? Where do they sell? What do they say about themselves to their clients? What prices are they selling their products or services for? How does this compare with what you were thinking about what your pricing should be? What do you like about what they do? What do you not like about what they do? What is the demand for your product or service? Is the marketplace saturated or just beginning? Do you have a new twist on an old concept? There are no right or wrong answers here. It's just awareness and information. Now take a few minutes and go back over your product and service description and what you know about your clients and customers. Is there anything you learned about your competition that is leading you to make changes to what you wrote? If so, make those changes now. Product positioning and pricing has a lot to do with marketplace perception of the value, your niche market, what the going rate for a similar product or service is, and where you want to take your product or service. In today's new world economy, it takes more effort to be on the leading edge. And it can also be less profitable to be an also-ran and last to market. That's why we do our research. You have a great concept or service, and you may be looking at your product and service, your clients and customers, and your competition, that just a little minor tweak is going to open up the market for you in such phenomenal ways. Just be open to the change and this new emerging opportunity, because this is exciting. Pricing has two considerations: what the market will bear and what your actual costs are. Retailers know that some products are priced just to get customers in the store, and it makes them no profit whatsoever, but they make it up on other products. So knowing your cost, your complete inventory of products and services, and where you can entice and delight your clients and customers can make such a big difference in your business. So let's move on now to talk about costs. There are operating costs, product or service costs, and other business costs. Operating costs are all those expenses you incur every month, whether you make a sale or not. It's what allows you to keep the lights on and the doors open, even if the doors are simply an online presence. Operating costs include, but are not limited to, rent or mortgage, utilities, phones, internet connectivity, website hosting and/or maintenance fees, your software, your applications that you need to run your business, insurance, office supplies or supplies that you need for your services, labor, which can be yours or someone that you've hired, your startup inventory, just to name a few. Now, if you're a home-based business, you will need to calculate the prorated rent, utilities, phone, and internet expenses for your business based off the amount of space that you use in your house. Even if you don't draw a salary, you need to know what the salary should be for the roles that you are doing. For example, if you spend 30 hours a week working your business, how many hours are spent doing admin tasks, management tasks, production tasks, janitorial tasks, etc.? Be as specific as you can with your hours. Why? Because at some point, you're going to hire someone to help you, and you need to know how many hours a week that particular task takes. It also will help you price those hours according to the national average for that given skill set. You will also use these costs to understand what your burden rate is. Now, your burden rate is the sum of all your costs drilled down to give you a cost per hour of business operation. It helps you know what to charge for each product or service. Products or service costs are all those costs that go into making your product or providing your service. It includes the raw materials or components, including the cost of shipping those items to you, packaging, creating and printing your instructions or user documentation, and the time it takes to make each one. For intellectual works, it is the time it takes for you to create, edit, and make your product ready to download. For artistic works, it is the material and time it takes to produce each piece. For services, it's the time that it takes on average for each client. When it comes to labor cost, you're priced with the national average hourly rate for the skill set. For example, admin hourly rate is totally different from a managerial hourly rate or a professional hourly rate. And all of your time is not in one category or the other. You need to break it out. Other business costs are those things that come up, but not every month. They include things like your annual permits or licenses, your business structuring costs, either what it cost you initially to set it up or what it is for a renewal. It's your accounting and your bookkeeping. It's association, membership, and professional services dues. It's your initial equipment, computers, printers, tools, advertising. It's all of those things that aren't every month. Things that you need to budget for or allocate a percentage of that cost across each month of the year. So let's review. You have described your product or service, figured out your ideal client, and should have a pretty good feel for what kind of volume you think you can do at a high level. You've looked at your competition and you've figured out where to position your product or service and what the going rate is. You have started taking your first pass at your costs. Now, you may have gotten them all down in your first pass, and you may, as you think over this in the next few days, more things may come up. That's great. Write them down. Just keep fine-tuning this. This is always going to be a work in progress. Now, you may also have found that as you think about it, you have a new product idea or a new service or a completely different customer or client base. Just keep writing it all down. Now we're going to talk about your SWOT. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when we talk about strengths, we're talking about your personal characteristics that give you advantages over others. What are you really good at? Now let's take it a little further. What are the strengths of your product or service? What are the strengths of your business? Take a few minutes, write them down. Now let's move on to weaknesses. What are those characteristics that you either don't like to do, you don't know how to do that well, there's things that could give you a disadvantage relative to others. Take a few minutes and write them down. What is the weaknesses of your product or service? What are the weaknesses of your business? Now let's move on to opportunities. Opportunities are the what and where, places that you, your product or service can take advantage of in this new economy, in the marketplace. Perhaps there's something going on at the regional or state level. Maybe something's going on because of the season or time of year. Anything that you can think of where you would have an opportunity, just take a few moments and write them down. Good. Now let's talk about your threats. These are the elements in the environment or the marketplace that could cause trouble for you. They're things that you generally can't control, but they're there. And this is an awareness thing. So just write them down relative to you, your products, your service, or your business. Now this SWOT analysis is designed to give you focus and vision for those areas where you, your products or services, are a master, an industry leader, where you're top notch. Those areas where you might need training, or your staff might need training, or you should consider outsourcing or hiring someone else to do that task for you. Where you have a competitive edge or a disadvantage in the marketplace, where you can jump on an opportunity, where you need to make plans to reduce a risk or a threat to your success. Now, weaknesses and threats do not mean that your business or product or service is not awesome, great, or valuable. It just means that you have an awareness of an area for improvement, or an area where you need to tweak or rethink your plans and strategy. Now, we've covered a lot of information already, and I'm sure that your head is spinning. So put your pen down, take a deep breath, because this is all really good stuff, and it has you focused in the right areas that are so crucial for your business success. So all of this information I've given you today will save you time and money in the long run, because you're really getting in there. You're identifying your product and your service. You're knowing your clients and customers. You're knowing your competition and what sets you apart. And you're figuring out trouble spots before you ever have to experience them. And it is perfectly okay if everything you thought before you watched this video changed. And it's also perfectly okay if everything you thought before you watched this video all stayed the same. Now I want you to take a few moments and let's project out your cost by month for at least the next 12 months. Take a stab at what you think your sales will be for the same 12-month period. Take into account ramp-up time, seasonal variation, and any factors that you wrote down earlier that you think can affect your sales by month. Start thinking about how and where you're going to advertise to reach those clients. We'll get more into advertising when we get to video 3. Okay, so let's review one more time and let's tie this all together. When you're positioning your product or service for the marketplace, you consider your ideal client or customer, their wants, needs, hopes, dreams, fears, concerns, and how you can help. You know who they are, you know where they are, and you reach them according to their demographics. You consider their age, their gender, their location, where and how they purchase your product or service. Don't forget that if your product or service price point is more than $100, they may need to collaborate with a partner before being able to make that purchase. When you're pricing your products and services, you need to consider your overall cost, what the market will bear, and what your competition is charging. Knowing your cost will help you determine how many products or services you need to sell each month to cover your expenses, and this will help you understand more how to set your pricing. Some products and services fall into what we call low cost, high volume. This means that there are a lot of products on the market and that drives the prices down. Or your product may be a small niche market with limited supply and that can bring a higher price. Your service may meet a professional industry set standard or may be based on the type of clientele you're seeking. Regardless of where you price your products or services, you always need to make sure your price covers all your costs, even your salary, whether you start out paying yourself in the beginning or not. In the next free video of this series, we're going to talk about how to set up your business accounting, cash flow and profit, how to figure out your break-even point, and we'll talk about your business infrastructure. I hope you've enjoyed this free video, and I would love your feedback. If you have any questions, please be sure to enter them in the box below. And if you like this free video, please share it with your friends. Until we meet again, remember to breathe, laugh often, and have fun as you live your entrepreneurial dream.